Welcome back to Hubert's Hot Rods and Fabrication. I've got both of the front fenders rust-free, finally, and pretty much dent-free. I've got them just laying on top of the tires right now, out of the way, nice and safe. That's about the safest place for them. The next thing we're gonna do is remove the running boards and the rear fenders off of the body. That's the next easiest / hardest thing to do, but that's what I'm gonna get positioned and we get moving. Instead of me continuing with long time-lapse videos, I'm gonna stop there. This has got a long way to go. I got a lot of cutting the rest of the bolts off. Everything's rusty. It sucks. It's fun. It sucks. No good. Okay, I've got all of the heads of the bolts cut off. They were so rusty you could barely even get a wrench on them. There was you couldn't make out what thread pitch or anything they are. They're all fine thread though, unfortunately, and they're carriage bolts that go through the chassis. So cutting them off and getting replacements for them is no big deal. There was no chance of reusing any of this hardware anyway. So hopefully this running board is ready. All the bolts are cut. It's ready to come off. I just got to work at this rear fender section and hopefully not take half of that rusted fender with me. So I'm gonna work on that. It's got a little movement. This thing's never been off. This running board's never been off of this fender, and it is really glued on. Really rusty. Half of the fender is staying with the running board because of the rubber. I think the rubber is kind of glued in there. Just chipping the rubber away right now. I thought this would come off a lot easier. All of the bottoms of the fenders on the back are going to get replaced. I have replacement panels for those. Fortunately, they make those because the support and everything in there is just trashed. Of course, this thing's gonna fight me because I've got the camera running, and I thought it'd just be easy. But it's never been off. The other side came right off. All right. Woo! There we go. Ugh. They are rough. Well, here's a closer look at the lower fender section before I pull the fenders off. This is all eaten out. There's a brace in there. That's all gonna come out. This is all gonna get replaced. No big deal. All right, now it's time to take the rear. Okay, I've got the fender bolts all taken out. I had to use a little bit of heat, a little bit of penetrating oil. It's kind of smoky in here, it stinks, but lucky for you, you don't get to experience that. This is the first time the fender's ever been off. It's crunched in the back here. There's some flange situation. I've only got 2 bolts holding the whole thing in. So let's see if we can take it off. Save the money shot. One back here. Again, all original. There's still a welting in between the fender and the body. This has definitely never been off before. It was welded in the front to the rocker. I had to cut and grind and pry. Oh, and there we go. No fender brace on this, so I'll have to figure out where that goes. All right, that's pretty crunched. But it's salvageable. Now you see all of this that's rotted out. I have a whole tail panel. This is all flimsy here. But there's the gas tank filler neck there. Gas tank's trashed. We're gonna replace that. Just kind of taking a look and seeing what we have. It looks like there's some holes here that need to be replaced, and then clearly in the front of the tire at the bottom of the fender. But I have patch panels for all of that. This I'll have to make. The inside wheel well, I'll have to make that because that's where it's going to join to the floor. And yeah, that's going to change once we put the notch in there, the C notch. So yeah, it's not looking too bad. Now it's time to get the other fender broken loose and pulled off. Well, there you have it. We've got the rear fenders off. Car looks kind of goofy without fenders and running boards on it. It's really narrow and it feels really short, but it's still freaking huge compared to a Model A, that is. So here we are looking at the rear fender. This is the passenger side. It's pretty crunched here, but it is nowhere near as bad as the driver's side. It's ripped up in the back. This is crunched up and ripped up in the front, but I have a replacement panel for this. I'm gonna flatten a good majority of this and tack it together just to get it back into its normal shape before I cut the bottom half of this off and replace it. I'm not gonna put a ton of work into it before doing that, but I am gonna put a little bit of work into it. So that'll be one of the next steps, is to get these rear fenders a little bit better than what they are now. I want to get them to where they'll at least bolt up and into the fender wells where they need to be, and so I can repeat that. There's huge slotted holes on here. I'm really happy to see that. There was really big fender washers that came off of here. Really happy to see that. I have replacement hardware for all of that I'm going to be using. But yeah, so I'm going to continue working on the rear fenders. We're going to get those cleaned up. I need to put bracing in the car. That's one of the future steps. I need to get metal and stuff. For that metal tubing, I use 1-inch tubing. So yeah, let's get to work on these fenders.